Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. It is Thursday. More importantly, it is Thursday afternoon. And yes, that means the three amigos. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing awesome, Mike. It's been a fun day. 3 appraisals this morning, in the desk this afternoon. Very exciting times.
Very, very cool. And Dion, how are you?
Howdy, doing great. Ready for round one.
Yes, so round one is actually coming from our Facebook group, both the One Rental at a Time Works and the Three Amigos of FI. Everyone seems to want to have all the three of us give our opinion about the 40-year mortgage, right? The 40-year mortgage is something I brought to the channel last week. It is a non-QM lender who does a 10-year fixed interest only that rolls to 30-year fully amortized at a fixed rate, doesn't adjust. So it's technically, they market it as a 40-year loan. I thought what we could do is let's just generically talk about what I think is coming to the owner aux, which is a government approved program that will eventually rival the 30-year mortgage, right? For most of my life, it's been 15 or 30.
Mm-hmm.
I think for my daughter's life, it will likely be 30 and 40. So let's talk about a 40-year mortgage and what we all think of it. Let's go to Dion first.
I think one of the benefits to watching this content is you get three different opinions. And sometimes I've stepped back and I've pounced on it when I get to go, hey, Matt, you're wrong. But I'm usually cautious when I go, Mike, I think you're wrong, because I respect what you've done so much. I want to emulate it, right? Mm-hmm. And I've heard some videos where you talked about the 40-year mortgage. You were excited when they were talking about it, when they came on your channel. And then after that, it seems like you were hesitant to think that it was a good idea. And so I have literally the opposite opinion.
Awesome. Tell me about it.
So mortgage,
mm-hmm.
the word
mm-hmm.
means until death. Like it's from Mort, like
yep.
Mort d'Arthur, the book. I don't care if a mortgage is ever paid off. A home buyer who is, 30 or 40, buys a home and has 30 years to pay it off so that they have a paid off residence when they hit retirement, and their 401k and their Social Security can maybe help them have a retirement. Sure, it makes sense. Okay. But if I'm getting a return that is multiples of the interest rate that I'm paying, and my return scales from 10% return first year and 20 and 30 in the years following, I would love the idea that I have a problem with the 40-year mortgage. I want it because I would like a 1,000-year mortgage. Don't care if I don't tap equity. I don't recycle capital. So you guys invest differently. Mm-hmm. You guys invest better and differently. But for my strategy, I just wanted work to be optional. And for me, that doesn't involve paying off a mortgage.
That's interesting. Hold on though, because you've been very clear. You have one mortgage that's free and clear. You'll get to 10 and then you'll focus on paying off another one. So I'm confused.
So when I get to 10, I have a decision to make.
Oh, okay.
Do I have the portfolio that can support the risk that comes with commercial loans if they have a 5, 7, or 10-year loan reevaluation period? So yes, I might pay one off and add another to keep that 30-year fixed rate debt. I would do it to keep the 40-year fixed rate debt. It's not to pay it off to improve the cash flow on that one. It's because I'm addicted to 30-year fixed rate debt, or I guess long-term fixed rate debt would be what I'm addicted to.
Right.
So yeah, I have a decision to make when I get to 10 mortgages. I'm at 6 now, so I've got a few to go. Okay. And I did pay one off when 4 was the limit.
Got it.
But the interest rate was 6%.
Got it. Okay.
If interest rates go high again, yeah, I wouldn't want a 40-year 8% interest loan, but sitting back waiting for them to lower so you can refinance makes sense. The thing I need to really sit down and do the math on is, does it make sense if 10 years is interest only and then you start paying the mortgage? Mm-hmm. But I like the idea of the 40-year mortgage for an investor.
How about for a homeowner? Okay, so that's a very interesting and important difference. You like it for investors because, again, I get the idea, right? Rents will increase. You're going for yield management, cash on cash. I kind of feel that. But you did say maybe not owner occupied. Where's the?
Maybe not the homeowner who's not buying investment properties.
No, yeah, I got it.
The person who just buys their house to live in, because it makes sense if you're going to have a retirement.
Got it. Okay.
Where your expenses are a huge factor. For me, I mean, I cheat with the cheat code to wealth. Right. I don't have the housing expense. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's a reason why it doesn't matter to me too.
Okay. All right. So if I were to summarize your opinion, you're like, hey, I'll take as long as it's fixed rate. I did hear that, right? That is a key. A 40-year loan that's 5-year fixed and 35 years of adjustable, no good.
Nope.
So
No.
if it was 40 years or 50 years or 80 or 100 years.
100-year fixed rate, totally fine.
Okay. All right. I like it. All right. And how about you, Matt?
Love it.
Really?
Love it for investors. Hate it for homeowners.
Tell me. So let's flip the script. Let's talk about homeowners first this time.
Yep. So I hate it for homeowners because that is going to leave them in a position where they're still illiquid, still not having equity, and still, if there's any sort of correction in the market, screwed, decade, done, period.
Yeah.
Just that simple, because they will not have paid any amount down. It depends on how PMI is going to work, right?
Yeah.
Because that means PMI is not going to be around for 5 years. It's likely going to be around for probably 15 of the 40, maybe even 20 of the 40.
Yeah. PMI, obviously, folks, private mortgage insurance or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah,
So
mortgage
that's why I
insurance.
don't like it on that piece. I think that it is going to pump up the volume on, I think it will make everything that a typical home buyer buys more expensive. It's going to make the
Tell me more
single.
about it. Oh,
So
you mean
yeah,
the,
so
you mean the
single family
the
homes.
asset type. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Single family homes as an asset will increase dramatically.
Mhm.
And that will, because the payment becomes more affordable, the asset will rise in price. And what that will do is it will, as you see different bumps in the future with recession and things like that, it's going to, I think it creates deeper dips. Because I think, and you're the economist, so you hold me honest.
Mhm.
So what I see happening is I see people being stuck where they are much longer.
Correct.
Okay. I see people I see the can being kicked down the road for when those resets do happen in 10 years instead of 3, 5, or 7, or 2, 3, 5, or 7, right?
Yeah.
2 on the resi side, which is the 2 and 28, which we saw back in 08,
Yeah.
right? Which
Yeah,
that stuff was nasty because there were a
Nasty.
lot of like pick your payment type of stuff.
Right.
Thank God we haven't gotten there yet, but I'm sure, Wall Street is going to do their darndest.
Mm.
So I think that also, obviously, I love it when people compare buying like that to buying against Wall Street. Wall Street's buying for cash.
Yeah,
They don't
exactly.
buy on a 40-year mortgage. They don't give two whats about what the debt structure is.
Yeah.
They're buying for cash.
Yeah. it's
So
different. Yep.
there's a lot of reasons I don't like it for the homeowner, because I think that the other thing that's going to impact too is that 10 years of tax increases, not in California because of Prop 13, right?
Yep.
But in every other state, and certainly in states like New Hampshire, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, you've got 10 years of tax appreciation as well.
Mm.
And tax appreciation, I can tell you, I have some properties that in the last 10 years, the taxes have doubled.
Wow.
The property taxes have doubled. And I think that there aren't enough people doing the 10-year from now math.
Mhm.
I think that everyone's just saying, well, rising tide lifts all boats. Well, what if wages are dead for 10 years? What if we continue to see a dislocation in markets?
Mhm.
Why am I talking like this? Why do we continue to see a dislocation in markets where you've got people that, you've got 11.5 million jobs available right now.
Mm.
The problem is a skill set. There's no skill set to fill those 11.5 million. It's not because people don't want them. It's because they don't have the skills.
Mm.
As the future rolls, there's going to be more jobs available, and there are going to be less people to fill them because people won't get the skill set needed to do that. Kind of a conversation that we had a couple months ago, like, robots in McDonald's, one person running a shift of 12 robots. That's going to be a thing when, people are $25 an hour to work at McDonald's. McDonald's is going to go, yep, we're doing it.
Yeah.
So that's what I just don't like about, that's what I don't like about the 40-year for homeowners, is I think that no one is taking into account wages could be flat. Your job could not exist.
Mhm.
I think there's bigger things, bigger fish to fry like that for a homeowner. Less important, I think, from an investor perspective.
Yeah.
Holy cow, Yahtzee. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah. So I have it's not wrong or right. I have a completely different opinion. And maybe I'm showing my age. Maybe I'm showing my scars from being a teenager, which I haven't thrown away yet. But for a homeowner, a couple of things. Once FHA says this is now like a program, it's on the rate sheet, prices go up 8 to 12% overnight across the country. Across the country. It ain't city by city, it's across the country, because we live in a payment-based society. It will be instantaneous. So if you own something already, the government will hand you 10% more equity. Congratulations. So own as much as you can. So in reality, the payments won't change. There'll be such a small window where like you'll be in contract already and you'll get a bump. It'll just be such a small window. So it really doesn't help anybody, in my opinion, at least the homeowners. Second, I think you're right. It accentuates the pain of downside, right? The business cycle is undefeated. It'll happen. And if you're doing that in an environment where equity is, because like the first 10 years in a 40-year mortgage fully amortized is nothing. So I think the downsides are actually worse in a 40-year mortgage.
Yep, I totally agree.
So I don't see much upside for the next. I don't see the, because this is how it's going to be pitched. I can already see Washington, D.C. saying this. We are going to lower housing payments for the middle class, for the first-time homeowner, blah, 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 blah. No, you're not. You're putting them on thinner and thinner ice, in my opinion. And I don't feel good about that. So I see no upside for homeowners. Investors, oh, go ahead.
So real quick. So my question to you is this, is that, do you believe that at that point, that is their claim to affordable housing? They didn't do anything on the supply side.
Yes, it'll be pitched as, yes, absolutely. It'll be pitched as the answer to affordable housing. Right. Yes,
exactly.
A pitch and reality are often different, but yes, that's how it will be pitched. And it will work for like 7 seconds and then it won't work. Now for investors, you guys may have tweaked me a little bit on this. First off, let's be clear, right? You do my yield spreadsheet, you take my course, you do all of that, you build it. You're building it with 30-year money. You're building a yield based on 30-year money. I haven't done the math, but I've done this enough times to realize if you change the mortgage payment, which for most of us is the largest expense on the spreadsheet, it will increase your yield because your payment goes down. It's just simple math. So again, it's one of those things that if you run all your comparisons at 30 and then you lie to yourself, you change one of the variables to 40, you're going to artificially create a great deal when you're comparing apples, but then you buy watermelons. It's a way to make a mistake.
But is it not? But this is a cash flow game.
Sure, absolutely.
So is it not? I mean, what it does is exactly what we talked about. Prices go up 7 to 10%, right? Pretty quickly, near immediately, because now the yields are completely out of whack.
Oh, yes.
But a beginning investor, but that puts a lot of investors into deals like in a very short term, probably 60 to 90 days, where people will buy everything they can with a 40-year mortgage, and they're like, cash flow payment, look at returns.
Yeah. So again,
so that's the key, is this, it's not a static picture. It's not, here's what 30-year mortgage looks like, and here's what 40-year mortgage looks like.
Correct.
We have a window.
Yes.
Where the norm is 30-year mortgage. So here's the yield you pursue.
Yep.
40-year mortgage becomes an option. So you can pursue a bigger yield for a period of time until 40 years seems to be the normal. So prices adjust because of the 4 people who buy based on, the amount you pay changes. The home buyer pays the most. They're going to buy based on what they can afford each month. The investor buys the second most because they buy based on what their yield is going to be. Flippers, they don't care about 40-year mortgage. Wholesalers don't care about 40-year mortgage. It's just the first 2. But you're right, Matt. The way Matt was saying is this is going to happen quick. And you said it about 5 minutes ago, Mike. You said own it, because if you own it, you're going to get that 18% increase in value. They're just going to give it to you by saying, hey, here's a new option to have lower payments for everyone else, which makes your asset increase. So we usually say, don't wait for the dip or the crash or the correction. We want to take action now. This speaks to take action now because of that, because prices, the values are going to go up.
Well, what about people that get into a 30 now, then refi based on the value at 4, right? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like,
No,
I'm going to do that with all my duplexes. I'm going to grab a 40-year as soon as I get a hold of those guys and verify. And like I said, I got to do the math on the
Mhm.
10-year interest only, how that impacts it. But
Mhm.
if I have a cash flow that supports my lifestyle 3 or 4 times that,
Mhm.
and all I have to do is refinance into a 40-year mortgage because I wasn't counting on it ever being paid off, didn't care,
Mhm.
and increase my cash flow every month for the next 40 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're going to like the conversation. I spoke with him this morning. I have 3 videos coming out, one today, tomorrow, and the next day. The first one's 10 questions. You'll like, I think it's 3 o'clock or 1
Cool.
o'clock or something. So it'll be out today. And they're coming back every other week. So the one thing that I want to be very clear, I don't want any of my students, myself included, to do all this work with a 30-year, do one deal at a 40-year, think that's a great deal, and then buy that deal. If you're going to choose to operate in a 40-year model, compare all of your deals in a 40-year. Because what I don't want you to do is, hey, my average is 6%. I'm happy to go. I just did the math on a 40-year. Holy shit, it's a 9%. I'm buying that one. No, your work was on 30. You buy on 30. If you want to do 40, then do the math with 40s. I see people making that mistake.
Yeah.
Right. They did all this work. They spent 90 days, 30 years. They do one deal at 40, realize the yield's high, and they jump. That doesn't feel good to me.
I think on your 50-year spreadsheet, I think you're going to have to add a category for rent because it's going to shift.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You're
It's going
right.
to shift because think about people buying. So what
Yeah.
percentage of the market will buy it on the 40? If it's a larger percentage of the market, then their cost basis goes down. Does that suck rents down or still keep them where they are? Because it will depend, right? Especially in a tighter economy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why new products like this aren't often brought where you can spread out
Yeah.
and defer cost. I
Yeah.
mean, because it changes the numbers. It's all math.
It's all math.
It's all math. And it gets, I mean, it's going to get, to Dion's point, looking at redoing all of his duplexes. I'm 30-year fixed 4% on the 9 that I did now and on the 9 that I did last year.
Yeah.
So I've got 23, I got 23 mortgages at 4% 30-year fixed.
Yeah.
I'm going to be knocking on my bank's door after I see some real 40-year product and going, maybe, because if that increases, I mean, imagine it's thousands of dollars a month across that scope of properties.
Well, here, I'll do this in a second. I don't know. Let's go do the math on $1 million just to see. I'll do that later. I'll do that for tomorrow, maybe. But yeah,
here's what we know it does. It quickly escalates pricing on available assets.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the downside.
It is.
Because it's a window.
It is.
We're hitting the window where it's starting to be an option.
Right.
And if we can take advantage of it.
Yep.
I might even change my plan from buying the next fourplex, which I'm hunting for, to buying the next deals that make sense.
Yeah.
Comparing all of them at 40.
Yeah, of course.
Before the prices catch up to people realizing that those lower payments are an option.
Yeah, well, guys, do me a favor, Dion, especially if you reach out to him, speak to him, let me know. Keep me honest. They will be kicked off the show immediately if they are not performing. Near as I can tell, everybody's liked them so far, but please let me know if something goes sideways. How can people find you, Dion?
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. Live streams are on Tuesdays.
Very cool. And Matt?
Mr. and Mrs. Lumberjack live stream back tonight, 8 p.m. I haven't told Ashley yet, but
Yeah.
we'll do it.
Hey, honey, date night.
After a 2-week hiatus, I'm like, hey, babe, come on in here.
Just
No,
an hour.
it's fine. Like, don't pay attention to the camera.
It's off. The light means it's off.
I'm not. Yeah, trust me, I have electrical tape over the red.
Me too, different reasons.
Definitely.
I like it when I can make you guys just lose it.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Well, guys, thank you very much. The Three Amigos is a often requested show. So if you want more of this, you got to like, subscribe, comment, and follow all 3 of us, or we're not coming back. There you go. All right, guys, take care. Thanks.
Ciao.
Thanks, Mike.